Well, glory to Jesus Christ. Welcome to St. Cyril Methodius Orthodox Church in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm Father Gregory, the pastor. It's good to be with you here this morning. Today, I want to go back and talk about something I talked about yesterday, which was friendship, especially Christian friendship. If you watched the video yesterday that I posted on the subject, you probably could not hear it, and that's because I forgot to turn the microphone on. So I'm going to, well, I turned the microphone on this time, so hopefully you can hear it. So, just before we get into our topic about friendship, I wanted to ask you that if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Likewise, if you're on Facebook, watching through our parish web Facebook page, St. Cyril Methodius Ukrainian Orthodox Mission, or my personal web page, our Facebook page, if you give us a little thumbs up, maybe make a comment or something, that's always helpful. It's good to know that people are there. The other thing, I mentioned this yesterday, is that we're not going to be streaming services anymore. It's getting to be a bit burdensome, but I think at this point, most everyone is able to get back to church. If you'd like us to go back to streaming services again, just let me know, and I'll see what I can arrange. We probably need to get a somewhat more professional kit to do that. We've been just using a cell phone and a laptop, and it's been getting a little burdensome. Anyway, hopefully you'll be able to attend liturgy today wherever you live. So I want to go back and talk about friendship, and if I may, and for Aristotle, there are two kinds of friendships, and the fathers of the church largely took this over: the friendship of utility and friendship of virtue. There was always an emphasis, I think, in Aristotle and the fathers on the importance of the friendship of virtue. And the friendship of virtue is when I have a relationship with another person and I see in them qualities of moral virtue that I admire, that I want for myself. And so, in that friendship of virtue, the two individuals foster virtue in each other. They foster moral excellence, or rather, they foster those habits of thought and action, virtues, that foster human flourishing and become the foundation for Christian holiness. So you can see why the fathers would maybe focus on friendships of virtue more than friendships of utility. Friendships of utility are those friendships that we have, those work friendships that we have, those friendly relationships that help make accomplishing a task easier. We have many friendships of utility, maybe people we work with, but people who support our football team, or even church. Church is often a friendship of utility. We are gathered together not for any other reason except for the fact that we want to be a part of this church community. None of these are wrong, to be sure, but Aristotle says that they are deficient because they are focused on utility, on what we can get or produce, rather than virtue, to which he gave a higher moral emphasis. As I was thinking about it, friendships of utility, I do think have been greatly underrated, because friendships of utility teach me how to work. And in teaching me how to work, they foster in me virtues like diligence, perseverance, but also compromise and collaboration. And these are virtues which are also essential in the Christian life. And I thought about this a little bit more. I realized my mind went to the four ascetical disciplines that are classical ascetical disciplines in the Orthodox Church. These are prayer, fasting, manual labor, and almsgiving, and manual labor. And as I thought about those, the first two disciplines, prayer and fasting, they are really very inner. They're focused on what's going on inside me. They help form and reform and transform my imagination, the life of desire. Well, almsgiving and manual labor, these are more outer directed. They are the virtues that help me transform or reform, and transform the world according to the gospel. Friendships of utility are those friendships that really focus on those second to outward directed ascetical practices of fasting, of manual labor and almsgiving. Seen in that light, friendships of utility, Friendships that help us learn to work together, to compromise, to be diligent, to be patient, to be collaborative, have a great role to play not only in fostering human excellence, but also the life of holiness. I think so often what happens in our spiritual lives is that we focus on prayer and fasting, on those inner ascetical disciplines, to the detriment of almsgiving and manual labor. If we engage in almsgiving at all, if we work with the poor at all, it's usually just sort of a token effort that happens now and then. As for manual labor, that's one that always just surprises people when I say that it's important. And yet we do need to engage in all of these. We need to care for the poor, we need to care for those in the margin of society, but we also need to learn how to shape the world with our hands, and do both of these in a manner which is pleasing to God. And so friendships of utility, far from being merely practical or pragmatic relationships, also have a central role in our lives as Orthodox Christians. So, what about you? What do you do in your own spiritual life to learn how to work? Remember, work or labor is, in fact, part of our original vocation in the garden, to learn how to cultivate the garden, to shape the world in a humanly meaningful manner. Having neglected, I think, friendships of utility in our Christian lives, in our spiritual lives, we end up falling into what is an increasingly egocentric or narcissistic approach to the faith. Or actually, to be more Freudian, it's all super ego. It's all about being in control and making sure appearances are what we want them to be, and that just doesn't work without those practical skills. Well, I'm going to stop here for now, but I'm going to ask you to think about your friendships and how many of those friendships do you have really do foster your ability to work, to care for other people, to shape the world, the physical world, the social world, according to the gospel. Hopefully some. All right. Well, it's 8 o'clock now. Liturgy starts in an hour and a half. And like I said, we're not going to be streaming, but I hope you have an opportunity to get to liturgy this morning. Hopefully, maybe you'll be able to come here sometime, some Sunday. Hopefully, that'd be great to see you. So I'm going to go now and get ready for liturgy. I want God bless everyone. I hope you have many profitable friendships. And you'll see in the show notes, by the way, a link to a Heterodox Academy post on friendship in the academic life. But I think it's more broadly applicable as well. So take a look at that. It's a little bit of a hard read, but I think it's worth putting in the effort. All right. Well, I got to go. I got more work to do. So God bless everyone, and bye-bye.